Those words echo in my head as I sit alone in the grand hall, staring at the empty throne beside mine. The hall is silent now, save for the low hum of the torches flickering against cold stone walls. It was once filled with laughter, soft and bright, spilling into the air like a melody I could never forget. Now there is only this heavy, suffocating quiet, and it feels like it might crush me entirely. I tell myself over and over that I made the right choice. That what I did was necessary. That I was protecting you, protecting him, protecting everything we built together. But the truth does not care for justification. It claws at me in the darkness, whispers through the cracks of my mind when I dare to close my eyes. The truth is simple: I broke us. The court believes they understand me. To them, I am a ruthless king, a cold and calculated ruler who allows no weakness to show. They whisper of my temper, my swift punishments, my unrelenting hunger for control. They think my cruelty is born from ambition, from pride. But it is not ambition that drives me. It is fear. Fear of losing what remains. Fear of failing our son the way I failed you. Fear that one day, all of this kingdom, the throne, the legacy will collapse because of a single misstep. So I strike first. I silence every threat before it grows teeth. I build walls so high, no enemy can scale them. Even if those walls have trapped me inside, a prisoner of my own making. Our son does not understand, not yet. He sees only his father, a figure of strength and authority. He runs to me with open arms, and a smile so pure it cuts me to the core. When he looks up at me, his eyes shine with trust, with love. Your eyes, your same fierce light staring back at me through his face. Every time I see it, I feel my heart break all over again. He asks about you often. At first, the questions were small, harmless things. When will Mama come home? Did Mama see me draw this picture? I would answer gently, carefully, weaving tales of distant journeys, and promises that one day, he would see you again. Lies, all of them, but necessary lies. He is too young to carry the truth. But as he grows, the questions sharpen. Why is she here, Father? Why don't you ever speak her name? And those are the moments I feel my composure splinter, my carefully built facade threatening to crumble. Because how can I explain to him that it was my decision? That the very reason you are gone is the same reason he still has a future. I can't. Not yet. So I hold him tighter, kiss his hair, and whisper, one day, you'll understand. Even though I pray he never truly does. Tonight, I return to the garden where I last saw you. The winter air was sharp and bitter, the trees skeletal and bare. I stood there for a long time, staring at the empty space where you once stood, your cloak trailing in the grass, your face pale with anger and heartbreak. I remembered every word you spoke that night. The way your voice trembled when you told me you could not forgive what had done. The way your tears shone in the moonlight, breaking me apart piece by piece. I had reached for you, desperate, begging you to stay. But you only shook your head and whispered, I wish you had trusted me. And then you were gone. I had thought, foolishly, that I could endure it. That time would dull the edges of the pain, that ruling alone would become bearable with enough years, and enough battles fought. But I was wrong. The wound has never healed. It festers, day after day, growing deeper, darker. When I returned to my chambers, I found myself standing before the chest of letters once more. It is overflowing now, each letter a confession I will never send. I picked one at random and read it, my voice hoarse as I spoke, the words aloud. My baby, I decided it for you. I told myself it was love, that I was saving you, sparing you the burden of the choice. But perhaps the truth is simpler. I was afraid. afraid of losing you to someone else, to fate, to anything I could not control. Afraid that without you, I would cease to exist. So I chose for you. And in doing so, I lost you anyway. A paper slipped from my hands, drifting to the floor like a dying leaf. As dawn crept over the horizon, I stood on the balcony overlooking the city. The streets below were quiet, the people still asleep, unaware of the king's torment. One day, all of this will belong to our son. One day, he will sit upon this throne and carry the weight of this realm upon his shoulders. And when that day comes, he will look back at my reign and see only strength, never knowing the cost of it. Perhaps that is how it should be. Perhaps my punishment is to bear the truth alone, to live and die with these regrets, gnawing at me. But I make this vow, silently, to the rising sun. I will protect him. I will give him a future worth living. And when my final breath leaves my body, I will. The dawn lingers far too long, a cold, merciless reminder that another day has begun, and I must once again play my role as king. The palace awakens around me like a living creature. Servants hurry through the halls, their footsteps light and hurried, their voices hushed as though they fear breaking the fragile silence that clings to these walls. Guards shift their stances at their posts, armor clinking faintly in the stillness. The air is filled with the smell of polished wood and burning incense, yet it all feels hollow to me. These rituals, these traditions, they are nothing more than illusions to convince the world that everything is under control. But I know better. Everything is fragile. Everything teeters on the edge of ruin. And I am the only one holding it together. I dress in silence, allowing the attendants to wrap me in heavy layers of royal garments, each one heavier than the last. The crown rests cold and unyielding on my head, its weight a physical reminder of the choices I've made, the lives I've destroyed to keep this throne secure. When I glance at my reflection in the mirror, a stranger stares back at me. There was a time when my eyes held warmth. When I smiled easily, when I laughed freely, when I ruled with a steady hand guided by love. That man died the night you walked away from me. In his place stands a ruler feared by his people, hated by his enemies, and obeyed by everyone who dares to come near. A man who can no longer afford to be soft. Because softness got you killed. The council chamber is loud when I enter, voices rising and falling like waves crashing against stone. They fall silent the moment they see me, bowing low, their expressions carefully schooled into masks of loyalty. But I can see beyond the masks. I always can. These men and women, they do not serve out of devotion. They serve because they are afraid. Afraid of my wrath. Afraid of what I might do if they fail me. Here is a poor foundation for a kingdom, but it is all I have left. As they deliver their reports, stacks disputes, border skirmishes, whispers of rebellion, I sit at the head of the table, silent and still. My mind drifts as I listen, my thoughts circling back to you as they always do. You would have hated this. You would have spoken up for the people, urged me to show mercy, to find compromise instead of bloodshed. Your voice would have been a light in this chamber, your presence a balance to my darkness. But now there is only me. And without you, balance no longer matters. When they finish their reports, I issue my commands with cold precision. There will be no rebellion. There will be no cracks in the foundation of this kingdom. I will crush dissent before it has the chance to grow. My words are law, and they leave no room for argument. The council bows, murmuring their obedience, and I dismiss them. The moment they are gone, the silence rushes back, louder than before. When I return to my private chambers, I find our son awake and waiting for me. He sits cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by his toys, his face bright with excitement when he sees me. He rushes to me, arms outstretched, and I catch him easily, lifting him into my arms. For a brief moment, the weight of my crown fades, replaced by the warmth of his small body pressed against mine. "Father," he says, his laughter ringing through the room. "Did you see what I built?" He points toward a small wooden castle as constructed. It is crude and uneven, but his pride is so fierce that it makes my chest ache. I praise him, ruffling his hair, and he beams at me as though I've given him the world. It's in moments like this that I remember why I fight so hard, why I keep building walls, and wielding my power like a weapon. It's all for him. But then, as always, his smile falters, and he asks the question that pierces me like a blade every time. "Father, when will Mama come back?" The world tilts. My breath catches. I force a smile, though it feels brittle, fragile. "One day," I whisper, brushing his hair back gently. "One day, you will see her again." He frowns slightly, clearly unsatisfied, but he does not press further. Instead, he hugs me tightly before returning to his toys. I watch him in silence, my heart itching with every beat. He deserves the truth. But if I tell him now, it will shatter him. It will shatter me. So I do what I always do, I bury the truth beneath layers of lies, convincing myself it is for his protection. Just as I once told myself I was protecting you. At night, long after he has fallen asleep, I return to my chambers alone. A box of letters sits on my desk, overflowing with unsent words. I lift the lid slowly, almost reverently, and take out the letter I wrote last night. My hands tremble as I unfold it. "My baby, I decided it for you. I told myself it was love that guided me, that I was sparing you from pain. But love should never feel like a prison. And yet, that is what